Hey, welcome back. This is Rick Stewart, and this video I want to call Fleeing Babylon, the name of my channel. And I thought it would be a great idea just to go over what is Babylon, and I suppose why do we need to flee from it. But especially I want to go over what is Babylon, and I'm going to bring in the Matrix movie into this one, parts of that, and maybe a little bit of Star Wars. But I think that just to help to explain how important this is, we're commanded to flee Babylon or come out of her, my people.
Do you want to know what it is?
So how can we flee Babylon if we cannot see it or do not know what it is? Many people think it is power or money or even a nation like the USA or Europe or the West or whatever it is. But to flee Babylon, do we actually need to flee the country? Do we need to flee? I mean, where in the world are you not going to be affected by Babylon? I mean, probably nowhere. So fleeing Babylon, is it really going to, getting a ticket, getting on a plane or getting on a boat and going somewhere? Or is it something else? So is there more to this than Babylon, than just money and power and maybe a nation, right? But is there more? I think so. Here's a little clip from the Matrix movie. Of course, the movie is occult in my opinion, and others may disagree, but that's my opinion. A wonderful movie, makes you think. I love movies that make you think. But the premise is very useful, super useful for this topic that I want to discuss. Because either way, whether you feel it's somewhat occult or you can see some spiritual stuff in it, it doesn't really matter. Either way, we are still in this, in my opinion, we're still in the same conundrum that we're like Neo. And are we going to wake up? Are we going to look? Are we going to think? Are we going to use our brains that we've been given? Or are we just going to continue to believe and hold on to everything that we've been taught and never look, never understand, never think, being scared and fearful of learning? So we can decide to go towards righteousness for whatever God or whatever, whether you're an atheist or not, whether we go for righteousness or go towards the good things that are there, or we can go towards the light bearer occult side of things. But Neo has seen a message to follow the white rabbit. And as he does, I'm not going to get into all that in the movie, but as he does, he finds that all hell breaks loose, literally, and things happen that he cannot understand or reason away. He's already living on the edge of society, but he can't reason away the things that happen to him.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television.
So he's in a state of what we tend to call cognitive dissonance, where he knows one life and then he sees things that happen or understands things that make it. There's no way that he can hold on to his old life and not know there's something wrong, because he sees that this is true and that's true and they both can't be true at the same time. And so he goes and meets with Morpheus. So Neo consents to meet with Morpheus, and that is key. He consents to go. He's the one that goes.
You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes.
But he's the one individually that wants to go. He wants to learn. He wants to understand. Morpheus wants to help Neo wake up to the world that he's living in. They call it the Matrix, but let's call it Babylon or Egypt for our purposes, because we are all in this together. And I don't care. I know there's a lot of animosity among the religions and the atheists and all the different religions against one another, but we are really in this together, where there's the born-agains, the atheists, the agnostics, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Catholics, the Buddhists, the Hindu, the Mormons, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Baptists, the Lutherans, agnostic, it doesn't matter. All of us, we're all in this same system, this same Babylon system. We're all in it together. And so the issue becomes, do we want individual? Do you want to know what Babylon really is?
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo.
So the issue really becomes is, do we want to know what the Matrix is, or what Babylon is in the Bible, or Egypt, or whatever the worldly system is, and do we want to understand it and how it affects each and every one of us? Because this is a key question each of us must answer for ourselves, no matter what faith group background we've come from. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. We're in the same boat together. And as he said, it's in everything. It's everywhere. It's all around us. It's the basis of our whole perception of our reality, especially if we've come from a Western nation. But really, no matter where we've come from, our perception is made from the reality of the system of Babylon that we live in. So when we're at our sports game, or watching it on TV, or eating at a restaurant, or driving on the highway, at work, at church, and yes, especially when we're at church, in politics, in government, in business, it's in everything. It controls everything. It's around us everywhere. And we can't see it because we're so used to it.
Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
So Morpheus says, you are a slave. And that gets back to the first commandment, where Yahuwah says to Moses, he says, I'm the one that got you out of the slavery in Egypt. That's me. And you'll have no other gods before me, no one else in between me and you. And he told them that he's the one that got them out of the slavery. It's so crucial to understand that it was really hard. We don't think about it, but they had lived in the people, the children of Jacob. They'd been living there up to the time of Moses. It was almost 420 years from Abraham to Moses. But it doesn't really matter the years. But a long time. They'd been from the time Joseph came into Egypt, and then all the sons came and they settled there. Their sons and their sons and sons' sons and sons. These generations had become completely indoctrinated into the system of Egypt, or Babylon, spiritual Babylon, if you want to call it, because it was the leading nation in their day. So when they left and they were ripped away from Egypt, it took 40 years for them to get the slavery, or the wine of Babylon, or the wine of Egypt, out of the people. And even then, they still never really got it out fully, because it always came back to corrupt them. So he and we are born into a prison for our mind. Our hearts, I suppose, our soul, the whole thing. But it's a prison of our mind, and we can't see it. We cannot touch it, as he said, or feel it, or see it, because we are indoctrinated into it. It's all we know. Just as the children of Israel, it's all that they knew was Egypt. That's all they knew, that lifestyle. So to be pulled out of it was extremely hard. And so for us in our day, what is the greatest thing that helps us to be indoctrinated into the system? It is the school system and universities and the whole bit, newspapers, everything. It all works on helping us to believe and see and understand and accept the reality that we are born into.
You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
He says you have to see it for yourself. It is a journey that can only be made individually. Each one of us can only do it individually. You have to see it for yourself. You have to think about it, understand, and see and understand yourself. And no one else can do it for you.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I find that for me, that's the only way. I watched all kinds of different presenters and from all kinds of walks of life. But in the end, it comes down for me to try to understand something for myself. Because we have to open our mind, and that is hard. because at first it's especially hard. As you get going, it's easier and easier. But we have to open our mind, our heart, and our soul to find and incorporate and to love the truth, no matter where or from who it comes from, and incorporate one truth with another, until the whole forest starts to fall and you start to understand better and better the world that we live in. So as he's saying, after this, there is no turning back. Once you open your eyes and allow truth to start to enter, no matter what the subject is that you're studying, once you start to understand that one truth, and then you want another truth and another, there is no turning back. You can't go back. Neutral ground is gone forever. It's impossible to get back to. So if you decide that you cannot face the truth and prefer the safe world, then take the blue pill and believe, as he said, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Just take the blue pill and you'll be fine. But if you take the red pill, as he said, be prepared for some very uncomfortable times as you try to sort out the truth from the error that you have always known and trusted in. It's very, very difficult, especially, as I said, at the first. It is important that Neo himself decided he wanted to go down that rabbit hole. He's the one, Morpheus just offered it to him, but Neo is the one that actually had to make the choice. So our forcing others, no matter even if we think it's the right thing to do, we can't force other people to wake up. It's not really helpful anyway, and it's certainly not charitable. People that want to wake up will be starting to look for themselves. Something will happen in their lives that they will start to want to know. And then when they start to ask questions, then we can help them to at least get started. Most people in my opinion, cannot wake up and never will wake up. And you notice that Morpheus does not ever force Neo, not ever. He's glad, I'm sure, that he takes the red pill, but he never forces him. He offers knowledge, he offers information, but he tells Neo, you're going to have to see it for yourself. I can't explain it to you. So he allows Neo to choose for himself. So when Neo goes down the rabbit hole, okay, it's Neo's choice to go down the rabbit hole. He's not being forced to go down. He's going down because he wants to know. He wants to understand the Matrix or the Babylon or whatever you want to call it. I see people unsubscribe from my channel on YouTube, and that's okay. I don't have a big channel, but I see people unsubscribe sometimes, and for me, that's just them taking the blue pill, right? They're taking the blue pill. It's not, I haven't done anything, I don't think, to them. I just to put out some information. But for them, it touches a nerve, and they take the blue pill. Because for me, no matter what I watch a lot of channels. I bet I've watched probably 500 different channels. And I love watching what people put out. There's wonderful stuff out there. And sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I half agree with them, sometimes I only agree in 10% with them. But I generally don't unsubscribe unless I find it to be completely worthless information to me. Other than that, I'm always willing to learn from anyone, right? I follow people that are Seventh-day Adventists. I follow Mormons. I follow Jewish people. I follow Black Hebrew Israelites. I follow atheists, evangelicals, Catholic presenters, New Age people, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'll follow anyone and try to understand what their point of view and where they're coming from. Because from what I have found, I have not found anyone yet, anywhere, who has all the truth. I've not found anyone who has all the truth. I certainly don't have it all. But you can piece together so many things from so many people. It's wonderful. But many people have pieces of the truth. And they, if nothing else, they make me think and make me ponder and make me study it out even further. So I enjoy, no matter who it is that's presenting, or whatever rabbit hole it is, whether it's religion or government or about weapons or wars or Antarctica or the North Pole, it doesn't matter. I love to go down, look what they have to say, understand it, try to think it through, see if I agree, disagree, or come up with, and there's many people that are presenting on many subjects. So if you're looking at the virgin birth, you can find out people that are pro, there was really a virgin birth with Mary and Yahusha or Jesus, or you can find out there's groups that believe that was false. So you can look at both sides and try to come up with an understanding for yourself. At least that's how I define is useful for me. But it's a key thing that I choose. I choose to watch people and listen to different presenters that I disagree with. Some of them, as I said, completely almost. Yet they help me understand their viewpoint. And they often have little tidbits of truth, or they help me to come to my own understanding of different things. But it becomes a personal journey, just as Neo had to make a personal journey down the rabbit hole. I think each one of us, I see people that are Catholics who are really struggling with things that the Pope is doing right now. I see people that are Seventh-day Adventists that are falling out completely with their church because they're starting to change their doctrines to align more with the world religions. I see people from all groups, pretty much every religion. People are starting to have difficulty. Things aren't working out the way they thought they should, or they're having conflict in their cognitive dissonance, as I said. They're starting to see that two truths can't both be right, and it causes problems. And for some people, as I said, they just, that's okay. I'll take the blue pill and stick with what I'm doing, and I'm pretty happy to do that. And for others, at least for me, that's it. It's a deal ender. I'm done. I've got to go my own way. In the scriptures it says, "Come out of her, my people." All of it. Her, of course, is the false religions, or the false system, or the false everything. Come out of Babylon. But as I said, I see this happening for people in the Seventh-day Adventists, for born-agains, for Catholics, for atheists. I see people going through their own crises of learning and faith, or whatever you want to call it, because things are changing. Our world is in flux right now, and it's causing a lot of people to have to rethink what they thought to be true. So as I go down these rabbit holes, for me, I don't want you to think it's just religion. No, I find religion interesting, of course. But there's so many in the secular world. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're looking at, whether it's, is it the Tartaria, or is it the mud floods, or looking at the Jibby Jab, or looking at Antarctica, or the North Pole, or it doesn't matter. There's so many things to look at, fascinating subjects to get into and study. But in terms of this Babylon system that runs everything, and keeps everything hidden from us, or tries to. It's everywhere, just as Morpheus said in this movie. It controls everything. We can't even see it. But for me, it's been a joy to find the truth. At first it was painful, really, to be honest. Certain things were painful. But now, as I look forward to it. I look forward to finding what's the new thing, what can I understand, what can I learn. And it's wonderful to learn and to grow and to understand. But remember that it is fear. It's fear. It's always fear that keeps us from learning. So what if I study, as I said, the black sun, or the flat earth, or Tartaria, or Antarctica, or Admiral Byrd, or it doesn't matter what it is. Studying it, it's never going to hurt us. Learning, in my opinion, can't hurt us. Yet we're so scared if I learn this, I'll throw away everything else I am. And I haven't found that for me that is true. Yes, I've had to discard some things in my life, some beliefs, and get new ones, and that's all good for me. That's just fine. But fear and ridicule of those that are trying to find subjects, and even if they're wrong, there's no need to ridicule. We're all just on a journey trying to find the truth. But I want to play this little clip from Star Wars about Anakin and whether we are too old to learn. And I don't think we are. I don't think even if we are at 90 years old, we're too old to learn. We can learn. We can always learn. But I want to play this little clip.
The boy will not pass the council's tests, Master. He's too old.
Afraid, are you?
No, sir.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
But ask yourself, are we too afraid to take the red pill about any subject? Are we too afraid to look for the truth? Because the Savior said, the truth will set us free. So, and free from the slavery, as it says in the first commandment. But the truth will set us free. And it's our holding on to error that keeps us in bondage. So we need to look for whatever and welcome all the truths, even if it hurts us, because we've always believed for 60 or 70 or 50 or 20 years we've believed a certain thing and it turns out it's not quite right or it's completely false what we've believed. That's okay. But anyway, if you've enjoyed watching, please give us a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. And if you feel like sharing or subscribing, that'd be great. Thanks and have a good day.